If I sweet loving and I know.
You're in tune to the Powerhouse Radio, linking the world to the Caribbean. Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on the Powerhouse radio station are those of the host, guests, and callers, are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other hosts or advertisers. The show, found on the Powerhouse radio station, can promote any lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice. These shows are for entertainment purposes only and are not intended to treat, diagnose, and or claim any cure of disease or conditions. Opinions stated by various contributors to the Powerhouse Radio and its programming are not to be considered as endorsed by the Powerhouse Radio station. Visitors are urged to use their own discernment to draw their own conclusion. We emphasize the importance of keeping an open mind.
Yeah, you listen to the sounds of DJ Fourth Quarter in your ear right now. If you're in your car, if you're at home, if you're on your phone, let's gripe, baby.
Driving home and you're feeling kinda tired. Radio play the same thing every day, so you need a little switch in your life. Traffic got you jammed up every night. Tune in to Powerhouse. Wednesday 7 to 9, you need to check them out. I promise I ain't trying to hype, but one good listen tonight, it might change your life. So what's the name of the show? You need something to just ride to on the go. Or you might be home, so log on. You can even dial in on your phone. I promise that you're gonna love it. Just try it one time, it'll blow your mind. Now I'ma say it just one more time. Every Wednesday from 7 to 9.
Let's gripe. Let's gripe. Let's gripe. Let's gripe.
Happy New Year. It is 2024. Good evening. You're here with Let's Gripe. My name is Tonia.
Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year. And my name is Mckenna. It's just such a blessing to be here in the new year. It is January 3rd, 2024. Yes. Hey, Tonia, it's good to see you.
Hey, welcome back. You look so beautiful. You just look so fresh. You just look like you said, hey, it's a new year. It's a new me. It's new everything. You looking like new money. Did you win that? Well, you in Michigan and won that jackpot on New Year's Day?
Listen, I wish I could claim that, but that was not my fortune. So congratulations to whoever that anonymous person was who won that jackpot. I mean, what a great way to start the new year with some extra money in your pocket.
Oh, yes, it is. I hope they are able and willing to bless others. Good evening, Nakaya. Happy New Year, love. Thank you for tuning in. I mean, we got to get her back on the show for this new year. She is such a faithful listener. And plus, she has some background in, the broadcasting and producing. So we're going to get her back in the studio soon. Of course, Marcus is not with us tonight, but he'll be back with us. He's okay, just getting some things together. But Mckenna, we gotta bring up some stuff towards the end of the year that happened. And then we got to jump in with some things that happened on the third day of January. But do you have a gripe so far? Day 3?
Really, this year is starting off good. I don't want to bring the year in with a gripe, so I will yield my gripe for later on. But right now, I'm just thankful. I'm in a good mood. I got some good rest. And I'm just ready for what the year has been. I'm just looking forward to just an excellent year and another opportunity to have some good memories and make a difference, in the lives that I touch. And then, of course, come to Let's Gripe and share about what's going on in the world. So no gripe right here today.
And I feel the same way. I really did bring the new year in with just, I had to leave some people back in 2023. I had to leave them. I had to, and some things. But Mckenna, you have known me for a great long time. And you know one thing besides the purses. But I do like to shop.
Yeah.
But can I tell you, as of January 3rd, I ain't went shopping yet.
What?
I was saying to myself, ooh-wee. yes, I am impressed with myself. I am, and I was saying that I'm gonna do less shopping and save more because I am able to shop and save. But I just knew that, like, towards the end of the year, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take time with the shopping, and I noticed as I'm getting older, it's like, you don't need all of those purses. You don't need, we just see things and we like it, especially if it's on sale. I just believe I have to get it. But I really realized, and even New Year, of every year, except this year, I will be online and I will find some great deals and I'll be shopping. Have not.
Oh, wow.
Have not.
I mean, you used to have that coupon in your shopping cart ready.
I mean, I've seen some sales splash by me, and I went online and see some things, but I really didn't do it, and I'm impressed. I said, you know what, that's a good sign for me, and I'm glad because this year is it just starting out, but I some of the reports that it was saying from Wall Street and with the economy is that this bubble is going to burst and inflation is really on the rise. And it's like, we have to be more mindful of how we spend. And I remember hearing that and I was like, yeah, I need to do that. But like I said, it was just something. And I was impressed with myself that I didn't. I looked at some website and I was like, okay, see you later. Bye. So,
well, kudos to you for exercising that discipline and that restraint because, we all have areas in our lives that we are weak to at times. And so it's just, as the new chapter unfolds, we put different things in perspective and different things become priorities. And so, it doesn't mean that you won't go and purchase a purse. It just means that right now in this moment, you have realigned your priorities. And I think that at the top of the year, it's a good time to do that for all of us in different areas of our lives, whether it's shopping, whether it's how we talk to people, whether it's relationships with our family, whether it's relationships with ourselves, relationships with our God, relationships with our body. Like there are things that just need to be readjusted and priorities sometimes they change. And, to your point of leading people in 2023, that's a very healthy thing to do. Everyone doesn't always make it over. I had a friend, and we used to joke about at the end of the year, well, do you have rollover minutes? Are you going to roll over with me in 2020, whatever that year was. But we always kind of had a light-hearted conversation because we understood that sometimes people don't roll over into our new year, and it's not always personal. Sometimes it's professional. Sometimes it's because we're going in a different direction. Sometimes we just outgrow them. Sometimes it's because of, hurt that we have to let go of. But it's just kind of like we have to take an inventory and we have to make an assessment about those things that are adding value. And if it's not something that's adding value, then we have to ask ourselves, well, why is it? So kudos to you for making some difficult choices. Some might have been easier than others, but just being in a good space about the choices that you made and in a good place about the people that you were going to allow to be in your circle in 2024.
yes, and we just have to, speak it out, and anyone that we can help. But the most important thing is just knowing the difference between needs and wants. So right now, it's just basically about the needs. It's not about the wants for me at this time. I ain't gonna say that I might not treat myself. So, my birthday, that's a national holiday, so I might save it for then. But I'm just being mindful. But one of the topics, we have had this many times. But I was listening to Frank Ski this morning, and they had a topic about with men. And he said he's going to lose his man card because he done busted out. He said if a man has been with you for a year or more, have not popped the question, he's not going to marry you.
Wow.
And I said, it's funny because I was saying that I ain't giving nobody more than 6 months anyway. Because you don't know if you want to be bothered with someone in 2 days, much less 3 months. So I said, And I was hoping that Mark, MG would have been able to join us tonight so I could really be like, hey, is that true? To see what his opinion is on it. But what you think about that, Mckenna?
I mean, I think Frank Frankie has been around Atlanta a long time, and he knows a lot of people. He's a man himself. He's been married, I want to say, twice now. And I think from a man's point of view, that's his perspective. Like, people really do know what they want to do. And if a man really wants to be with you, he's going to communicate it in a way that makes you comfortable and confident knowing that that's his wife. We, as women, we shouldn't have to guess. And I think we spend a lot of time, and I'm just from my personal experience in the past and then people that I know that I talk to, we spend time making excuses or waiting or hoping or wishing upon a star that they will change or that they would be more communicative about what their desires are, that they're actually going to match their words. But when a man's ready, we've seen those stories where so-and-so was with such and such for 7, 8, 9 years. And then a year and a half later, they meet somebody else, and within 9 months, they're engaged, and then they get married. And you're thinking, well, what happened to the girl he was with 7, 8 years? And so most of us can attest to an example of something like that. It also speaks to, the recent breakup between, Deion Sanders and Tracy. They've been together over 7 years from what I remember, and they recently broke up. They wish each other well, but there does come a point where you have to state your expectations and then be okay with the other person's decision. Like, if he is telling you by his actions that this is as good as it gets, then believe him. Because if he wanted something different or he wanted something more, then his actions would align with those words. To your point, I saw a TikTok video earlier today, and the lady said, "We are tired of cohabitation." Is what she said. She was like, "I want my space, I want my peace, and I don't want to live with him anymore." And I was going through the comments, and there were a lot of women who were saying, "We are tired of this cohabitation. I don't want to live with him anymore. It's not benefiting me. I need my own place. I need my own space. I need to be able to breathe." And so it kind of really just aligns to, what you were just saying that Frank stated. But what would you add to that? Like, how do you feel about what Frank said? And then also, how do you feel about the lady on TikTok who was basically saying that women are reclaiming their space back, and they are saying that I don't want to cohabitate. I want to. If we're gonna date, then I want to come to your place. You can come to my place, but this cohabitation, it's not benefiting me, and I'm not interested in it. So, what would you add to that?
Well, I'd say the honest truth. I think that would be me if I was married for, hey Kim, how are you? Happy New Year. If I was married for 15 plus years, because I know how I am, I was married for almost 10 years. And I remember I was saying I would get divorced just because this man would not keep the place how I keep it in order. So I can see my husband and I living in different houses. He spend the night over here, I spend the night over there. Maybe some night we don't spend the night. I can see that. I'm not in a new marriage.
She wasn't talking about married couples. She was talking about people who were living together that weren't married. The cohabitation.
Okay.
The boyfriend couple, like, we start dating 6 or 7 months later, all of a sudden you're moving in, and now we're living together, and now it's been a year and a half, and nothing has changed, nothing is happening. Why are you still here? She was more talking about the cohabitation. She wasn't talking about the marriage.
Oh, the marriage. Okay, so just as a single person.
Yes, the boyfriend, girlfriend, people who are living, men and women, or partners who are living together.
I've done it. I won't do it again.
You wouldn't do it again?
We won't live together until maybe about a month before we get married. A month before we get married. And we're going to move in. We're going to buy a house together. And our properties will stay there as rental properties. Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't do it again. Because you remember the old saying that the grandmother used to say, if he got the cow.
Why buy the cow when you
if you got
for free?
Yeah.
It makes more sense as we get older.
I'm certainly believing that, and I just I wouldn't do it again. Mm-mm. Is like you said, and like Franksky said this morning, he says the man, he stays with you even though he doesn't intend to marry you. He stays with you either he's using you or there's things that value to him, things that you can do for him, things that you know. But he's not gonna. And this is so truthful. It's the truth because I believe every word of it. And with my past relationship, I believe that's what happened. I brought great value to it, but they weren't ready for that. You know, not mad about it, but I know now what I would tell any man and woman: set boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
Have your boundaries, and when you're dating and you're meeting someone, and if they're not meeting your boundaries or they're off, don't try to tell them they're off and try to get them to do better or that, like they said, red flags. Just be like, hey, it's nice knowing you, because I'm not even about we could be friends. I already have the friends that I need, so I'm not about the friend stuff. So you can go, but I just believe that once you set the boundaries and once you know what you want, that should be it. I have a friend that she doesn't want to get married right now, but she wants a committed relationship. She wants to be cuddled at night. And I remember she was telling me, oh, someone want to be friends. And I said, but that's not what you want. So why agree to that? You're not getting the things that you want out of it. So why agree to that? That's not what you want.
And I mean, to that point, Tonya, I think we have to do a better job as women to not just set the boundaries, but enforce the boundaries and be okay.
Enforce it. I love it.
And
The word right there.
because we can have the boundary, but then we don't enforce. Like I remember years ago when I was in my 20s, I had a friend, and he used to love to text me around 11 or 12 o'clock. Why are you texting me at 12 o'clock, sir? What you doing? What you think I'm doing? It's 12 o'clock. So, but eventually, so I set the boundary, but I didn't enforce the boundary because at that time I was working a part-time job and I used to get off at 12 o'clock or 11 o'clock. And so he knew that I was still up and in motion. So you're trying to catch me at a certain time for a certain reason. So I had to learn to enforce the boundary. So we learn through experience because when it doesn't work, we have to go back and say, well, what happened? Well, I set the boundary, but I didn't enforce it. Or I yielded to the manipulation, even though I know that that person was really only seeking to get their needs met, whether it's me answering the phone or me responding, after I said I was going to respond at this particular time. So we have to just do a better job of enforcing the boundaries because people are always going to try to get what they want. It's like the human instinct to always satisfy our ego and what we want. And we're going to ask you for what we want, and we're going to try to get you to turn. My dad used to tell me, a man will always try to get you to turn your no into a yes. I was like, huh?
Wow.
I was probably like, I don't know, 16, 18, 17. It didn't make sense. I didn't know what it meant. There was, but then as I got older, I had examples of when I said no, and the no went to a maybe and then to a yes. And how did it happen? Because he's on his grind, he's on his hunt, he's on his pursuit, and he's trying to get you to turn that no into a yes. Whether it's, hey, Ma, give me your number. You know, nah, I'm good, I'm good. Come on, Mom, what's the harm? What he got to do with me? Whatever the line they're throwing at you that you're trying not to pick up. Come on, just give me your number. We can hang out, blah, 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 blah. And then what do? You yield. And you don't want to talk to him or call him or hang out with him, but you yield. So I think that at the top of the year, it's a great conversation to have about not just setting the boundaries, but in practicing enforcing the boundaries and being comfortable with letting your no be no, if that's what it is. If it's a no, be comfortable with no, thank you. No, I'm not interested. Don't bother me. Whatever that thing is for you in that space. So I think it's just a good thing to go back and practice. In some areas in our lives, we're really good at the boundary. And in others, it's just like anything else. We have to stretch and exercise that muscle, practice it, and get better at it.
Well said. And I love that you said enforcing it. So not only setting the boundaries, but also enforcing them. I like that. And I'm going to keep that. That's going to be one of the things, setting the boundaries. And that's even with friends and family and even with me, with shopping, enforcing it. So again, boundaries are made to be set and just enforcing them. So I love that. I just can't wait till MG come back so we can definitely get some insight on that part of it. But we did have over the New Year. First of all, what did you do for New Year?
So for New Year's, I actually went to church. We had the first service at 6 o'clock. So I went to church. I came in. I made it home before 9 o'clock, and people started shooting at around 10 o'clock. So I was glad that I was actually in the house and not driving or just leaving church, because I don't know why people like to double shoot on New Year's. It just feels like fireworks and guns for 2 to 4 hours, from like 10 o'clock to like 1 a.m. But I had a good time in church, and I had a good time coming in and relaxing and being still while the New Year came in.
Wow. So I was actually going to look up one of the topics that I wanted to kind of address, but I just ran on a video on Instagram that a man was being sentenced and he jumped over the bench to attack the Las Vegas judge. So are we gonna have what you call it, barricades that no one could get to the judge? Is that where we going now?
It, it's like an episode of Law and Order or something. I feel like I've seen that scene on TV acted out like for fake, but yeah.
I
So
don't know. Some people
I hope the deputies were there to restrain him and that he didn't actually, make it.
he did. He made it, but they was there. But the fact is that you done, no matter how much time, because apparently you didn't have on any handcuffs.
Okay.
So you probably was already on bond or whatever came in for sentences. So you done whatever that said. So that means that you wasn't deemed to be fair or anything like that, a dangerous person or whatever. But now you done added a whole lot of charges and more time to whatever that sentence would be. I'm just saying. Where we going? I don't know. We definitely got some prayers over to Japan because they had a hurricane. What's it? No, earthquake.
Earthquake.
And then a tsunami came.
It's tough, that island or that country is on those plates, and they're always moving and shifting, so they're very prone to earthquakes and tsunamis. So it feels like every 2-3 years, they're having to rebuild. So I just pray for all the families who are, impacted again, and have to go through that rebuilding process. So it just must be annoying and frustrating and just devastating to have to go through that so often as they do.
Yes, we definitely send our prayers out to the family and people who have, was involved or suffered any injury. Like I said, material things can always be replaced, but it's the life that is more important. We definitely got to go into where, so Kim, she did say, what is our New Year goal? So I think I said mine's. Mine's was basically as far as the shopping, saving, being more conservative. But you guys, you can definitely, send your comments in the chat. And if you have a question or if you even have, say hello, like, Kim and the rest of the crew does, you can definitely submit it through there. And also, if you want us to talk about a certain topic, you can definitely submit an email at letsgripe@gmail.com as well. And we can also have those topics. One of the things that what we like to do here at Let's Gripe is we talk about what's going on in our neighborhood, even in the country, even in the world. But most of all, we try to give our opinion and concern. So Let's Gripe is when the name Let's Gripe basically mean, gripe about something. Sometimes things happen and you're like, you want to call that person like, guess what I just saw? So it's not negative. Griping is more like getting something off your chest. It could be It could be negative. It could be that you want to vent, and definitely could be like, let me tell you what happened to me. It could just even be a testimony. So again, we just like to share positivity. It's not negativity. We try to touch topics that sometimes might be sensitive, and sometimes, you know, some of it is funny. Some of it is about relationships. Some about it is losing a loved one. But again, like 2020, the Powerhouse Radio just got some new things coming, and that's why we're gonna, you know, step it up some more and start even, you know, going out, you know, to different places and even do the show lives there. You know, we there's some goals. So that's one of the goals for the Powerhouse Radio, is just taking it to another level. I definitely thank our listeners for supporting us. It's been this year is going to be year 5 from 2019.
29. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, October will be 5 years. So definitely for, you know, our listeners, and definitely for the Powerhouse Radio, just seeing our vision and it, you know, bringing us live every Wednesday. So again, like, we couldn't do it, and I truly thank our listeners, our supporters, because we couldn't do it without you guys. You know, sometimes I'm like, my heart is filled because with gratitude, because sometimes I'll get calls and texts like, hey, you guys not going on tonight? Hey, you guys didn't go live, and it feels good that you guys are looking out for us. So we definitely appreciate that. So Carolyn, she said it happened all the time. I think she's referring to Japan and the tsunami. But so Mckenna, you have something that we want to go into real quick, because I was trying to find one of the things that I had wanted to talk about. Jeffrey Epstein. So I think they are supposed to be releasing some transcript.
Uh-oh.
With the John Does and the Jane Does.
You mean like naming names?
Naming names.
Uh-oh.
Hundreds of pages of documents, exactly.
Let me tell you what, Netflix has already got a pen in hand or a typewriter, because they're about to do a movie. Like, whenever it comes out, there's some writers that are on standby putting together the movie, so we can go back and watch it.
I think you mean that they have their representative at the courthouse camping out right now.
Okay.
To be the first to get the transcript.
Okay.
The documents.
Yeah, because we need a movie about it so we can watch it, so we can understand it better. Because, you know, we don't really the read in and unfold and all those pages. We're not going to do all that. We're going to skim.
Right. So we just want to see the movie. So it says the documents reportedly includes the name of prominent figures who have been associated with the late accused sex trafficker. And the documents are currently under review, and they will and what they said, yeah, but it's supposed to be released tomorrow, you know.
There's some people that are nervous, but then the culture that we live in, people are going to still have like this strong sense of deniability that, oh, I went to the party, but I wasn't involved with X, Y, and Z. Because the way that people lie today, I've never seen it so steadfast. Like, people will stand, you know, like the song "Taggy, It Wasn't Me." I'm looking right at you.
Perfect song.
Right? I'm looking right. I'm looking right at you. I have the evidence right here, and people are like, "It wasn't me. I didn't do it. I wasn't like that. Wasn't me. You misunderstood." And so, although we're going to see some names that will pop out, and we're like, "Oh, y'all were associates." There's already a story for it, because those people have had 2-3 years to get their story together. Oh yeah, we did business together. You know, I was on his private yacht, or you know, he used to host an annual New Year's Eve party. You know, I was there. But there's already a story that has been formulated. So some of the elation that people have with understanding who these people are is going to be deflated, because people are going to normalize it. Like, yeah, everybody knew, you know, Jeff, and you know, we didn't really realize that he had such this dark side, but you know, our prayers are with his family. And then people are going to move off him, and then that's going to be the end of the story. So that's why we need the movie, so that the movie can dissect actually what happened. Of course, it's going to be in a Hollywood format, so it'll be a little dramatized, but it'll just help us understand how how much sin is still out. I'll just put it that way. Um, and if you have any sense of belief that sin is something that's just prevalent, and the focus is what happens is that we live in a society where you see it so frequently that sometimes you forget that it's wrong. Or sometimes people lie so much that you forget that it's wrong. But there are women who have been sex trafficked. There are women who have been peer pressured and violated, who didn't really have any opportunity to set that boundary and say no because of the position of power that other people had over them, or they started out with a no and their no turned to a yes for all kinds of reasons. So the women who have been exploited, who have been victimized, who have been um, manipulated, who have been traumatized, I don't know if this is going to be a victory for them because the way that our culture is set up, I mean, our whole culture is set up on lies. And so, on one hand, we're eager to see what's going to be in those documents, but on the other hand, just remember that we don't always see the justice. Like, we want, like, I grew up on Law and Order, so I referenced it a lot. So, you see the crime, you see the investigation, they go to court, and then about 80% of the time they win their case. So in that hour, you feel like you saw some justice. And then that 20% of the time where they didn't win the case, but they were guilty, you felt disappointed and upset that the justice system didn't work. And this is another example of how this document is just going to be one more thing that we're going to look at in 15 years and be like, there were a lot of people that got off, that weren't held accountable. But remember, we don't always see justice. God has a way of handling people, and sometimes we don't see that. And so it's not that we're going to rally around the demise of somebody. We're going to just lean back on the God of our understanding and remember to focus on ourselves to make sure that what we are doing and teaching and how we're living, and the things that we expose ourselves to, that we don't put ourselves in a situation to be judged and condemned by others in the future. I can't hear
Because
you.
it's the same thing. Excuse me, I had it on mute. But did you hear about T.D. Jakes? And he was always at P. Diddy's party,
Mhm.
and they had some memes going on, and showing him in a bathing suit hugging up.
Listen, those memes, they reminded me, I couldn't remember the person that the memes were like around COVID time when we were like, ooh, ooh, ooh. Like I remember they got Jim Carrey and they used to do like, um, oh, I can't remember his name now. But the whoever's on the meme game, they get awards. But, like they need a whole show, a whole series because those memes will have you, you'll feel bad for crying and laughing. Like you will, you're like, oh,
I mean, it was hilarious, but
it's
it was
painful.
he literally had to address it in his congregation.
He didn't have a choice but not to address it because he's a public figure. And again, what he said, the snippet that I saw that what he said was, even if I was there, all I have to do is ask for forgiveness and pray.
Mm, mm.
So I'm not saying that he was or he wasn't. I'm not saying that he did or he didn't. I'm just saying that again, we're waiting for a shoe to drop. But the way that our society is set up, the the fizz of the balloon has already been fizzed out because of the way that our society is. I mean, we saw Tammy Faye and Jim Baker, and I mean, we've seen Eddie Long. I mean, like we've seen people down through the years uh, be caught, be accused, be convicted of participating in things that we feel that because of who they are, they should stay away and avoid because of the messages that they tell other people. Like, how could you possibly be caught up and associated with that? We've seen it, So for me, I'm sad. I'm sad for two. I'm sad on both sides of the equation. I am sad because um, the truth is that whatever the truth is, what I'm sad because whatever the truth is, number one, we're not going to get all of it, and number two, the truth isn't going to do what we need it to do, which is set us free. Like growing up, be honest, tell the truth. The truth is going to set you free because the truth in this situation could help other people. It has the opportunity to for some person who's been victimized, whether it's a young boy, whether it's a young rapper, whether it's a young artist, it has an opportunity to help them heal the pain that they experienced from the shame that they had to hide from the situation that happened, that where they weren't able to enforce the boundaries because maybe they were a young artist and they're looking at their career and it's already happened. And now it's a choice between, well, I'm going to blackmail you if you don't, or
Mm.
I'm not going to have a career if you don't. So it's bitter. The truth is not, I don't see that the truth is going to really shine the way it could and heal people. I just feel like it's going to be smoke and clouds and mirrors. It's going to be lots of accusations, and then we'll be listening to like TikTok and YouTube to find out the different layers of the truth. But then the truth doesn't really get to shine so that it can help and heal, because that's what the truth should do. It should sing, it should pierce us, it should spotlight our behavior, it should give us an opportunity to be accountable if we did something wrong and to make amends. But if the truth is not going to do that, then what's the purpose of the truth? And then how do we, as consumers of the media, because we consume all of it, like this was an interesting story and everybody had a spin and everybody had a meme, and his congregation probably felt guarded, like, oh no, I know this isn't my minister, this isn't my pastor, and I don't want to believe it. Because remember, we are a culture of people who use information to help us feel safe in what we believe. Like, I feel safe knowing that this person couldn't do this. But if I could imagine that this person did this, then I'm not going to feel safe anymore. And we want to feel safe. It's another reason why we stay in places too long, because we're safe believing the lie that's been told. And once we acknowledge the truth, then we have to look at ourselves and say, oh my God, well, what does it say about me? And why am I still in this situation? So, yes, that's my gripe. My gripe is that it's just another example of how, um, I don't want to even use the word evil, but how evil, um, and how corrupt our culture in America. It's just layered with corruption and manipulation and people doing things to people who traumatize them. And then we wonder why we don't trust each other. We wonder why we can't all look like, we can't have a house that 10 people live in. There's no way, because we don't trust each other. Like, I can't trust that you're going to respect my boundary. I mean, we watched on TV, like The Real World and all those TV shows where 10, 11 people try to live together. They couldn't function. We weren't healthy enough to do that. And it's sad because if 10 of us could live together, imagine the wealth that we could build. Like, we're all pulling our resources together. Like, me and you, we're living, then we're going to add another person, we're going to add another person, and then we have a goal. Like, okay, everybody save this amount of money. And then, all right, well, one person, now you leave, and then we'll bring somebody else in. And then, okay, now Tonia's next, she's out of her money, so she's going to go, and we're going to bring somebody else in. Like, this is the kind of, I saw another video, and my last point, and then I'll yield back to you. But I saw a quick little video where there were some men sitting around and looked like they were in a barber shop, and they were talking about Floyd Mayweather. I guess once upon a time he was out bragging that he had a $10 million watch or something. And they were saying, what do they put in a watch to make it worth $10 million? And do you know how many people he could help or feed or put on or invest into to build a community with this $10 million watch? Well, we're focused on the wrong thing. We're not focused on using um, our abilities and our talents to help other people. So I know those are like four different things, but yeah, it's a lot of griping that we're doing at the top of the year. Thank y'all listeners for listening, and feel free to send us a message or post so that we can hear what your feedback is.
Exactly. because it's a lot to talk about. And it's a lot to chop it up, and sometimes it's just you and I, and then it's three of us when MG is here. But one of the videos that have been going viral as of Monday. So Carolyn says, but he didn't say anything. But I say this: there was consenting adults. So really, I don't care about that. I can. It concerned me when children are involved. So Carolyn saying, as long as those children was not involved and it was just those grown folks doing what they do, she don't care if she mind the business. I agree, Caroline. I agree. But what about the church to bring in the New
I
Year's
mean, the swag and the surf.
and the pastor with the saying and walking out. Listen, if that's gonna bring somebody to the altar to give their life to Christ and let them know that you can still be saved, give your life to God, and still be able to walk it out, why not? I'm just trying to figure out what the big fuss about. I see people talking about, oh, that ain't no church. Every church ain't church. Music is music to me. I see people dancing to gospel music. Kirk Franklin, they dancing. If they're not playing the vocal part of it, he said, "What those people out." I mean, if he's not playing the vocal part of it,
what they did, they were playing the words to the music. That was
I
part of
just
the
the clips that I saw, I just saw to walk it out. You know, I thought they was just playing the chorus. Now, if they was playing the whole song, they could have literally got somebody to kind of do a Christian version of it or whatever, or just do the chorus part of "Walk It Out" and what you call it, the swag or whatever. But if they did all the
or even play the instrumental version without the words, because people know the song. So if you wanted to swag, if you wanted to, you know, swag and surf, you could do it without the words. So the words were. So I take a little issue with it, and I had this conversation earlier with a couple of people. Um, so we kind of rolled the tape back, and we were like, our grandmother. If you imagine what our grandmother would say, and I remember um, growing up that there was something sacred about the church. And I think for people who were watching it, um, they didn't see anything sacred about the church. It looked like the world. And part of the growth of, if you ascribe to Christianity, which we all don't, but part of the perception is that the world and Christianity should look different, or the world and religion should look different. And if you're looking at a clip and you can't tell if this is something that glorifies God or something that glorifies man, then is that a principle or a foundation of Christ or the church? And I think from the comments that I read and people that I talked to, that was one of the gripes that they had about that um, visualization of what's happening in the church. Because then you have the world saying, well, if y'all partying in the church, y'all aren't any better than us. And it's not that we're supposed to be better than anybody else. It's supposed to be that we are supposed to be closer to God than we are to man. And I think that that was the missed opportunity. And why does the church have to look like the world versus the world moving closer to look like the church? Um, and I get that people are saying, well, people were there and they were saved and they were partying. I get all that. And people dance to Christian music. I get all that. But I think there was a bigger point that people were trying to express. And, like I said, from the conversations that I had and the messages that I saw, it was really more of, what would Jesus say? Like, were we really glorifying him, or were we glorifying our own flesh? Was that about God, or was that about me partying? And me partying is me being in the flesh. Partying is not about me being closer to God. Me partying is about me being in the flesh, which when I was actually at the actual club, but now I'm in the church. So I get to have, my party. But the party is the flesh. There's nothing about partying that is connecting me closer to God. That's not the purpose of the party. Now, if I'm in the spirit and I'm letting the Holy Spirit dwell in me, and I have a utterance or a shout, that's me being in the spirit, being closer to God. So it just depends on the lens that you're looking at it through. Yes, people were saved. Yes, people were in the building. But was that experience connecting them to God or connecting them to the flesh? That was my takeaway from that. Other than that, we do what we do and we have fun and we party. But as the world looking in, people who, maybe didn't grow up in the church or have issues with the church, this just lends them to another comment to say, that's why I don't go to church anyway, because church is a bunch of hypocrites. They're doing the same thing that I'm doing, so they're not any different. And we're supposed to be set aside, set apart, and different, if that's what we believe. And did that experience set me apart from my cousin who didn't want to come to church? Not judging my cousin, but if my walk is supposed to be getting me closer to this God over here, how did that in the church get me closer to this God over here?
And that's what I love about us, because we have our different opinion. And I had mine, and then when you broke it down, it's like, you are right. Because, see, I was looking at it more like, because, like I said, I just saw clips and bits of it. I didn't realize that they were like playing the words. I thought they did like the chorus part. Because when I was watching the clips that I saw that I heard the, what do you call it? Just like the chorus part. So I didn't know they went through the whole record. So now that's something different. But like you said, how am I supposed to know the difference? And when you broke it down like that, it's like, I didn't think about it that way. So now it's like, you're right. You're right. And that's what I love about us here, because again, we have our opinions. And then sometimes it might be like, either you or MG or, yourself will say something. It's like, oh, I didn't look at it that way. I didn't think about it that way. So, but I mean, a lot of people was like, no, like this shouldn't be in the church. And like I said, my first opinion was like, the chorus, walk it out. Yeah, walk the devil out, swag him out. I looked at it as that part. But like I said, when it comes to the actual words of it, then I get it. I definitely get it and I understand. But then that also comes to when you're choosing churches. You have to know what you're looking for. Like when I moved here and I was looking for a home for a church, I wanted teaching. I didn't just want no tambourine and shouting and Holy Spirit and running around the church. I wanted teaching of the Bible, of the word. And when I found that church, I was getting it. But then after a while, I needed more. So I get what you're saying. So I just say to anyone that is looking to give their life to God and looking for a church, knowing what you want out of the church. Do you want to go to church and feel like you're at the club? Do you want to go to church and everyone is gossiping and they talking about Sister Mary and Brother John and, et cetera, et cetera? Is that what you want to be a part of? Or it's just everything they talking about? They got building fund. They got pastor anniversary. Pastor need a new vehicle. Pastor need a new jacuzzi. You got to look at what you're looking for in a church, so you won't get caught up in where you're in a church, but it's really not of God. So I think, I personally would have never like, oh, I'm going to go visit this church and see now, because I know what I look for. I look for teaching and the right words. So
back to the earlier point that you made about setting boundaries. Even when we go to church, we have to set the boundary, right? We're always walking examples of being a better version of ourselves. And so if we go in church and somebody's trying to gossip, we tell Sister Mary, I don't want to talk about Sister Lisa today. Let's focus on ourselves. And then that helps Sister Mary not gossip, because we set the boundary with Sister Mary. Now, she might roll her eyes, but then she'll have a little respect for you because you exercise some restraint. Let's pray for her, because we never know when it's going to be our turn where somebody's talking about us. And then that's how we build and how we grow am I still in that place where I want to tear people down, or am I in that place where, okay, I can maybe see that somebody did something, but I'm not going to try to tear them down because of it, and maybe I don't know the whole story. So what I'm going to do is pray for that person and encourage that person to, hang in there and, just do a better job next time. But I like your point of we have to know where we are and what we need. And there are some people that, like, since you've been in teaching, we start out as babies and then we grow and we mature. So when we start out as babies, we're going to be the gossipers. We might be the ones that want to go to the church that's fast paced and, it's only 45 minutes and in and out. And then as we grow a little bit, we're going to want a little bit more. I want to learn more. I want to understand more. I want to develop more. So maybe I leave that church or maybe I stay there, but maybe I have an online pastor that I look at because, you can go online and watch services and have teachers and learn information. So maybe I go online, and listen somewhere else to get more while I still go to this other place. But I think that these are some really good conversations that we're having at the top of the year, and I'm really excited about all the other topics that are going to unfold as Lex Gripe continues to grow, and we love the feedback. We love that we can come and have differences of opinion. We're mature enough to agree and disagree and look at the same thing from different angles. That's the whole point of Let's Gripe, for us to just throw it out there, gripe about it, chop it up, see what you think about it, see how we think about it, and then just when we leave the space, we want to just continue to encourage each other to grow.
You said it well. Just like Asha said, she said it's always, especially when it comes to religion, it's best to analyze. And it's so true because sometimes, you see something, you get introduced to something, and it's like, oh, I'm going to do it all. This is where I need to be. So you have to kind of get a feel of it. And I think that compiles with everything because it's such a new year. I think a lot of things that we should put in place for this year is just to not jump at everything, analyze it. That's a good word too. Analyze it. See if it's good for you. Because a lot of times we tend to do it because for someone else. Are we doing it for ourselves? And that's one of the things that I've started to work on mid last year. And that is a continuous thing because 2024, I have claimed it. I have claimed it for all my heart desire. And it's a good amount that I have claimed this year. So Carolyn said I didn't hear the whole record. The people were saying the words, but the music was not playing, not saying the words. Carolyn, that's what I said, but Mckenna heard the words. So again,
and I think maybe it was on different clips. So on some clips I saw there weren't words. Some clips I was listening, but we're all right. I'm agreeing with everybody. Some of it was words, and some of it wasn't words. And
yeah, because like I said, when I first started listening to it, I was like, the walk it out. I mean, I could get, because I love it's people, and I think some people get confused too because I love the Lord. He is my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. He is the head of my life. Okay, but honey, you put on some music, I'ma dance too, and I don't think I have a problem with that. I don't think he has a problem with it because it's where my heart and my soul is. But I love music. There are sometimes, and with me, sometimes like, that beat good. Sometimes I don't even know what the word saying it to. So I'm like, did you hear what it said? And I gotta be like,
no idea.
I don't listen to all the words in music. If the beat is good, I'm just enjoying the beat. So until someone always points it out to me, like,
if you listen to the words, I used to tell my mom when she was living, I said, Mom, don't listen to the words because the words might have been. She was like, what did you say?
And I feel that way, and I think that's why people might get confused because I don't listen to words, I listen to music. So Captain said the pastor needs to give the guest pastor a Bentley. Suck it up. I mean, they probably collect about 6 offering that night. Because I remember one New Year's Eve, we went to church, and I mean, I'm telling you, the amount of offering they was collecting. And I mean, I was just like, okay, all right, okay. And I mean, and then the man pulled out the Bible and he started talking about Malachi, and I thought we was here to bring in a new year.
Shall a man rob God?
I said, I had to say, you know, and I ended up leaving that church too. Then there was another church I was at, and they trying to raise $150,000 for the pastor and his wife anniversary. And what have you done for your members? Have you gave your members even $100 for a Christmas gift or gave them free turkey at Thanksgiving? That's when I realized this church wasn't for me, and I had to leave. I mean, I'm just saying, it's one of those things we really got to just start evaluating things and situations and even people. Because for me, this, like I said, this year I claim it for greatness. No time for drama, no time for disappointment. That was all left over there in 2023. 2024 going forward is just about joy, happiness, just loving, living, and laughing, because we don't know when our clock will stop ticking. So when mine's do, y'all be like, yes, like what they say with police officers when they're no longer here, end of watch. Y'all would say end of life for me, you know, and into the new life that I'm entering to. So with that being said, it's 7:58. We kind of chopped it up real good. Like I said, we're going to come every week with new topics. And what I ask for our listeners, you know, love on your friends and family. Love on your people who love on you. And the ones who not giving you the time of day, it's all right. Pay attention to the ones who are paying attention to you. You be safe out there. There's all kind of little flus and all that going around. So wearing a mask would be a good thing so you can stay healthy. But most of all, stay safe. It's 7:59.
Man.
Thank you for tuning in.
I just want to say happy birthday to my friend Kim. I think today is her birthday. I just want to say happy birthday to my cousin. She had a birthday right after Christmas. So just a couple of happy birthday shouts for the top of the year. And then also my condolences. I did have a friend who lost her father last week on Wednesday. So, you know, to your point, Tonia, you know, life is never guaranteed, and so we have to just continue to smile, be joyous, love on those people while we're here, and then wrap our arms around those who are grieving. So we appreciate you tuning in. Don't forget tomorrow to join for Reason and Thursday at 8 p.m.
Yes, tomorrow, Reason and Thursday. I mean, if you think we chop it up over there, I think they, ooh-wee, honey. When I tell you they get down, deep down, okay? So don't forget, that's tomorrow, Reason and Thursday, for 8 p.m. And on Saturday, we have Lady D show at 12 to 4. I mean, like I said, I love music, so I don't know about you. I be tuning in and just be jamming. And if you're cleaning, that's some good music you want to listen to. But again, just remember, thank you again for supporting the PowerhouseRadio.com and the Victorious Radio. Again, we couldn't do it without you guys. So again, remember, tell a friend, and tell another friend, and tell a family member, and share and like and subscribe so you can get notifications. Sometimes you guys be seeing me looking down, y'all. I be texting folks like, hey, come on in. You know, I be sending them the link. But if you subscribe, I don't have to send you the text. You can actually get notification that we are here live, and even Reasoning Thursday, and also the Lady D show. So just go ahead and subscribe. Again, this is Tonia saying Happy New Year. Thank you for tuning in tonight. You guys be safe. Have a great week, rest of the week, and see you next week.
All right, this is Mckenna saying the same. It's been a pleasure to be here with you this evening. We look forward to rocking with you in the news.
You listen to the sounds of DJ Fourth Quarter in your ear right now. If you're in your car, if you're at home, if you're on your phone, let's gripe, baby.
Driving home and you're feeling kinda tired. Radio play the same thing every day, so you need a little switch in your life. Traffic got you jammed up every night. Tune in to Powerhouse. Wednesday 7 to 9, you need to check them out. I promise I ain't trying to hype, but one good listen tonight, it might change your life. So what's the name of the show? You need something to just ride to on the go. Or you might be home, so log on. You can even dial in on your phone. I promise that you're gonna love it. Just try it one time, it'll blow your mind. Now I'ma say it just one more time. Every Wednesday from 7 to 9.
Let's gripe. Let's gripe.